I hear you. I didn't prepare, so I hope
Dude,
I can give
look,
you
look,
what
I
you're
got a
looking for, man.
lot. I spent a lot of time preparing for this.
Oh,
Let me show you.
geez.
You know, all right, I'm
There
ready.
you go.
No, I don't even drink, man. This carbonated water. I had a bunch of cans across this desk here with the Perrier bottle and Evian, but you can't see it with
Right.
the camera. So I was gonna show you that, man. Anyhow, all right. So we're recording. I hope.
All right.
Hang on, get the bear cam going. Yeah, he'll walk. As soon as I sneeze, he'll walk away from that picture. All right, all right. Uh, Now, also, Travis, I'll probably call you like 4 different names. Right.
I'll answer to them.
Right.
Go for it, man.
Probably call you, Jackie. I'll probably call you. For some reason, I got Travis and Nathan mixed together. When you get closer to 100 than 0, shit. You know what I mean? And
Can you
then
hear
I
me
don't think
good? Are we coming through or anything? I
I
mean,
think
did
I hear
everything
you. I
sound
think I
okay?
hear you really good. You get
Okay,
cool
good.
dude. You get cool dude headphones on, right?
Sometimes when we're doing this,
Yeah.
someone will freeze up and we don't know what's going on. And
Right.
a lot of the times, I think people use it so they don't have to respond to me. They're like, I didn't hear what you said for the past 10 minutes. So if that happens, let me know.
All right. Well, again, man, I appreciate your time, and I am not worthy. Right?
Oh,
Bear might
hell.
be worthy. Bear might be worthy, but I'm not.
Bear
Uh,
is definitely worthy.
you know, he's hard at it. He's like trying to think what he's gonna do next. So look, man, I spent 4 hours at work working on this today. Let me show you.
It's a paper plate. Oh, wow. Okay.
Right.
That's
4 hours
good.
they paid me for that, man. But I'll mail that to you if you want. I put a John Deere hat on. You know.
I got you.
You're right. And then I created
I
a bunch
wanted
of
to
notes.
record that so I could have a picture of that. Now, when does this? Am I allowed to record something on
Oh,
this?
hell
Can I do it
yes,
too? We
dude.
don't understand. I have to ask you permission. So I
I
guess
mean,
that's
I'll
right
send you the
out.
MP4. I'll send you the MP4.
Okay, that's fine. No, it's awesome. Thank you. Yeah, yeah.
No, I'm
Quite
just kidding you.
wonderful likeness.
If anybody from work sees this video, I didn't really do that at work. I did that Sunday in church. Right. All right. So look, I made some notes.
Okay. So okay.
I worked hard on these. I can't read them, but some of the stuff I want to kind of talk to you about, and let's free form, because I'd like happy to talk to you. Most important question I've been working, worked on this all week is I need you to tell me, why is an alligator a snake?
Why is an alligator a snake?
That, that cracked me up, man, 2 weeks ago. That cracked me up.
I see you threw me for a loop. I'm not even going to remember that. I swear they go halfway through until somebody tells me. I don't remember. So we were talking about. Well, I know yesterday we did one where we talked, or I should say,
Yeah. Snakes and alligators.
Yes.
Yeah. I listened to that at, I don't know, 2 a.m., man. I woke up and I said, thank God. Thank God, RSU. Thank God. And I was out, by 2:30, hopefully. I usually get 4 sleeps per each podcast. So,
Okay.
I mean, come on, man. I'm listening, I'll memorize it. But the funniest thing 2 weeks ago, usually you're talking about Trump signing pardons.
Yes.
You said, before I sign this pardon, you're playing Trump. If you're Trump, before I sign this pardon, you tell me why an alligator is a snake.
Okay.
And I shit the bed on that one, man. Can't even remember that. Hey, so just real quick, I've been watching you guys a long time. I mean, I can't say I've seen every episode. Like, I think, last 4 years. I mean, I've seen stuff way back. I've seen your your public access stuff. That stuff's funny.
I'm old, so yeah. There's a lot of stuff up there.
I'm older than you, right?
Are you?
Yeah. I'm double
I
nickel.
feel older than you, though. I'm
I think I feel older. But what's his name? What was his name? Craig Davidson.
Yes, Craig Davidson.
Yeah, he cracked me up too, man. He was funny.
He is a very funny guy. For a period of time,
yeah.
He was as funny as anyone to be around. But then if alcohol
Yeah.
or any kind of drugs got involved,
Right.
it went downhill fast. It went downhill.
Right. I got you. I understand that. But he had some funny ones where he picked up all the phones. Hello,
Yep.
hello, hello. That was some crazy stuff. And then that
Yeah.
time where they
Yeah.
went to your market, and then Jonathan's asking him, have you stole beer before? You know what I mean? He goes, yeah, I know what you mean. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That is hilarious, man.
Now,
But
now that market was what we based Jackie on. Not the
right.
guy. His name was Jackie, and it was
Uh-huh.
Goff's Market. I don't know. This is actually in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Now,
Okay.
where are you? You're near Chattanooga. Where are you
I'm
again?
outside Chattanooga, Ottawa.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, that it unfortunately no longer exists.
Right.
But gentlemen like Craig Davidson and some other
Yeah.
old friends, this is where you sat all day and you had a few beers, you watched the TV, ate
Yeah.
some great barbecue.
Right.
So that kind of vibe definitely influenced Red State Update for sure. And
Right. Right.
Craig Davidson came along before Red State Update was
Yeah.
around.
Yeah.
That's the guys we were hanging out with. Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny. I mean, and I got all kinds of questions for you, man. And I don't want to paralyze you all night. But
Well,
that's
how about I give you three?
3 questions.
You get three. No, go. Whatever you got.
What is the meaning of life?
Uh-huh.
Right. Let me
Mm-hmm.
pour some more carbonated liquor.
That one again. How many times do I have to explain this to people? Good God.
We tried to talk about it on a podcast one night, and I think the net was, I forget. Right. And a couple more highlights from all your all's episodes and stuff. I mean, there's so many highlights. I crack me up constantly. Like when you had to, I think he gave you a choice between voting for Hillary and something else, and the clock's ticking. You remember that one? The video.
Yeah, I do remember that one. It was it a nuclear? This is how awful this is.
Yeah.
I do remember this because I think it was either Hillary wins or there is a nuclear
right, or end of civilization.
Yes, or somewhere, just one of the states. I don't know if it was completely a complete annihilation, but like another. It was a terrorist attack. That's what it was. It was a terrorist attack. Another big terrorist attack, or Hillary Clinton, and he couldn't have died.
So that was a funny one. And then all your podcasts.
Is that funny? I don't.
That was a
some
good
of this
one,
stuff I don't know if it is funny anymore.
I've got the things that trigger me. I mean, I'm not anybody special, but I got the things that trigger me that make me think you're all funny. But real quick, I want to talk about the week in the life of your podcast. I mean, do you have a day job, or do you guys just do entertainment?
Well, right now, I currently. I mean, the podcast it's certainly not a day job, but I do that once a week due to the, the plague that we're currently, I have some weird medical stuff that I'm more susceptible to it, just,
hey, there's two, it makes two of us.
So I was occasionally going on auditions, doing bit parts here and there, that sort of thing as an act, doing some voiceover stuff occasionally.
Right.
But right now, unfortunately, I'm all cooped up here. So
Right.
Hopefully that will change soon within the next, who knows?
I mean, and I kind of look back at that Tennessean article today, right? Remember that old Tennessean article that talks about you guys? I think it came out in 2016.
Yeah.
So you've been in LA probably, I don't know, 19, 20 years now, something like that.
Yeah. Just about. That's about it. Yeah.
Do you like it?
Well, I mean, it's home. It's just at the time I came out here, there's a lot of roots here, a lot of close friends, family.
That's cool.
So and it's just home. I love Tennessee, and I hate not being able to go back.
Well, at least you don't have the humidity and the bugs, and
Well, it's still home, and I love to go see my pop back home.
Cool.
He's still with us, thank goodness.
That's great. That's awesome.
But it's just the obviously coronavirus is keeping me kind of cooped up.
Now, did you really get a shot? I think in one show you said you got a shot, the vaccine.
I have not gotten a shot.
Oh,
if I said I did, I guess the character may have. I think Tennessee's doing a lot better on that than California here, because I'm still in line waiting, and fortunately my dad and some friends, people, you're doing good business there somehow. I would not give your governor credit for that, but
No,
somebody's doing
no.
a good job.
We won't, you know, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
I took the dog out of the picture. It's enough.
All
Right.
right.
They
I
want to see
didn't
you
mind.
more.
I didn't
Yeah.
mind the dog being around.
Right. Well, I'll put him back in later. That means that people
Sure.
can hang on. They can hang on and get more bear. So these are just generic questions here, and I'll get to the funny stuff. The questions about funny stuff. But
Okay.
So we try to make some podcasts, me and a buddy of mine,
Sure.
right? And we can't do political because we're kind of opposite political, right? Right? You guys
Well,
know what?
sometimes that works. You know,
Yeah.
there was a little show called Crossfire. I know. Yeah, but it was an awful show, so I
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah. So he likes about aliens. I talk about
Uh-huh.
music, you know. But back to L.A. because I jumped away
That's
from
a
that.
good mix, by the way. That's a good
Yeah,
mix.
aliens. You can't
Aliens
go
and
wrong
music.
with that. You know, you always try to find podcast. Really, it's more like therapy for us. We sit on there and you're stuck listening to the
It's
dude.
a say. That's why Jonathan and I continue to do this. My partner, who I work with, for those
Yeah.
who don't know, I mean, it is. We trust me. There's so many times we wish we didn't have to talk about politics, but
Yeah.
it is what it is,
Right.
and I appreciate people listening to us. It almost feels like a civic duty now because we were
Yeah.
going to retire. We thought, well, Hillary's going to win the election, and then
Yeah.
we'll say goodbye.
Right.
And of course, that did not happen. So we felt and things are still crazy. Hence today at the impeachment trial, and it's just it's crazy.
You guys keep talking about what are you going to talk about next, but I mean, there's plenty of evil left in DC. You know, and I'm not going to say which side's evil, right? You know. Plenty of evil left.
There's lots of evil there. Yeah.
Yeah. So the other thing I wanted, since we're talking about LA, you guys, to me, you know, just from listening, casual listener, you guys really seem like you watch a lot of movies and you know all the actors and you know all the news hosts, you know, Lou Dobbs or whoever you were talking about last night, right?
Sure.
You guys are kind of.
I mean, we're not that informed. Let me, because there's plenty of times where we walk into stuff, I'm sure you've heard, where we kind of think we know what we're talking about, and then suddenly, like, get the phone out. I mean, we just admit it. Like, we got to look this up. But we're geeks, I guess. Jonathan's more comic book. Like, I don't know that world so much, but he's got all of that down. Yeah. And I'm pretty good. I'm a movie nerd, so yeah.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you guys are definitely movie and political junkies, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, keeping up with politics would take you 40 hours a week, you know, just like every single thing.
I as awful as things are, I have to give myself at least 48 hours break or something, you know, and that's where you bring in the movies or whatever. But I try to do that. But, you know, like right now, it's just nuts. I mean, it's on over here. I'm wanting, you know, just make something, you know, it's constant. Yeah.
So in a week in the life of making a podcast, do y'all have a schedule? Do you, after you do I know there's a lot to it.
No, not really. There's not a whole lot. No, we
do you make notes?
We you have to more so, I would say, on the sponsors aspect of it.
Oh man, those are great.
I'll forget what happened. You know, I'll have to make notes of that. Jonathan used to do that, and I just had to look at his notes. But now, of course, we can't. We have, you know, we do it like we're doing here with Zoom. So yeah, I've had to start taking notes. But they do we prepare? I mean, yeah, we talk. We usually always just he and I talk about how we're really feeling, which I'm sure you can tell comes through these characters we're playing.
Right.
You know, we do that once a week. We keep in touch, obviously. So, but sometimes we falter a little bit. We try to like, well, you know, can we do it in a couple more days? You know, and plus things happen sometimes too. But definitely once a week. We took a week off. Last week, actually, it's the first time we've done that in a while. Maybe we did it on the holiday too. But but like you were saying, it whether we want to admit it or not, or whether we even feel like getting into it before we start recording, but afterwards, you know, we're all this frustration that you're dealing with politics, like everybody is. You know, most people can tweet about it or Facebook, and of course there are millions of people who podcast about it. So I recommend any of that just to get it, you know, out of you. So that it's cathartic for us in some weird way, and hopefully funny for somebody.
I mean, I look at you guys as like just pros, and like you got a routine and you got an outline and structure. Those sponsorship stories. Here's your all strengths. I mean, this is Kevin's opinion, which counts as nothing. But your story is your strength. Many strengths is that is like acting, right? Like when you're acting out the thing. Like I forget what the guy's name was, and you said, can you fix this? I forget the guy's name, Killian. And you were like,
God, yes.
The voice meant it. The voice meant it. And then Jonathan just goes nuts. And what's great about you guys, a normal person would be doing, just, and y'all just run it out. And there's no, what I'm saying, pauses in your speech, like, while you're thinking. I don't see how you go.
We've also been doing these characters since, 2008 or before, a little bit, 2007 maybe. So it's like,
but some of those crazy stories,
it's second nature at this point, because we've done it so long.
But some of those crazy stories, I can't believe he makes them up on the fly, or you guys make them up on the fly.
We kind of give ourselves some sketches of that. Like we don't have a whole. I think one time we actually recorded ourselves on our Patreon, actually talking and trying to figure out a sponsor and kind of how we do it. So we don't like write it completely. Yes, definitely. I would say 80% of the time we embellish whatever it is we were going to start with.
Roll.
He said, it's just, basic improvisation, but sometimes it, and we laugh at ourselves occasionally, so we're not. I wouldn't call us pros for that reason.
You guys are pros, man. What, 12, 15 years? That's pros. The other thing is you guys don't crack each other up much. I think it's rare when you all laugh at each other. You hold it in.
We're definitely holding our breath. I mean, that was one of the reasons it was easier to do without filming them, because there's plenty of times where he gets, I can't speak for him. I don't think he thinks I'm very funny, but no, there's been plenty of times where I'm like,
I would lose it. I'd fall out of the chair. I'd fall out of but you guys are like, that's real comedians on TV, and you're all real comedians. They hold it in. They don't, stand-up guys. They don't laugh at their own jokes, I do.
I want to introduce you to Harvey Korman and Tim Conway.
Oh, I love, man. Koala.
They never held it in, and God love them for it.
Right. Oh, I love those guys. All right, so week in the life of a podcast, just to summarize, because we get 29 views on our podcast, and that's my friends who can't sleep.
Hey.
And they're like, hey, man, did you do a podcast? I can't sleep. Go, yeah, go listen to that Alien.
I'm serious. You're lucky with as many podcasts as there are. You're lucky if you have one person that listens to 5 minutes of it. So good for you. Yes.
It's seriously to put them to sleep. That's all it's. So week in the life, like let's say, I think you guys like publish what, Sundays or Tuesdays, or
we try to we shoot for Sunday and Monday, but it varies occasionally.
Right. Yeah. Do you make a few notes during the week and you just zoom it out?
Well, we usually, I wouldn't say we take notes until we start. We try to find, and sometimes I feel we fail at this and hopefully make up for it in other ways, but we usually try to discuss something, just what happened in the news. And sometimes I took a break from the news. I don't know what the hell happened, whether it's him or me. So one of us has to fill the other guy in, but, you try to find a point of view, something that's, something that we're doing, which of course I say we fail at this regularly, but, and that comes out of just us talking about what happened that week. So, I would say most of the notes go to the sponsor aspect.
Right. I think one of the things you guys do well is like when they come out, sometimes they come out on Thursday and Sundays.
Yes.
Is that, when Trump was in a news cycle, every day was, something crazy. And usually something big would happen the day you sent it out. Like, hey, this is like, you guys are probably doing an impeachment trial one.
Yeah. We did one yesterday, and of course I'm sure we talked about it, but like, you'd have to do one every day to cover this stuff because it's just started and it's going to get crazier. I mean, this is what it is. But yeah, there's also plenty of times where we record one and put it up, and then something happens that we're talking about, nobody is.
It's not relevant
because
anymore.
It happened. Yeah, the very next day. And Trump, it was just constant. It's just constant. Yeah.
That's cool. Where else was I going? going with this. As far as equipment, I mean, you know, special equipment, do you like microphones or?
I got a little bored. I
Yeah.
don't even know what brand. I'm not a
Yeah.
gearhead by any
Yeah.
means.
Right.
You know, they're like $100 microphones, I guess, you know, something like
Yeah. Right.
that.
Right.
And
Right.
a little bored. We're still working
Right.
on the laptop I'm talking to you on. We've
Right.
had this since we did the Kickstarter thing, which
Yeah.
was the 4 years ago, and
Right.
it's still running. So nothing super professional, but you know,
And
eh,
who does the technical stuff? You or Jonathan?
um,
Who keeps the wires plugged in and
usually we worked from here. Most of the equipment
okay.
stays in my
All right.
apartment, and
Okay.
of course with Zoom we don't need that anymore. But
Yeah. Right.
uh, it's not a whole lot to it, you know. We
Mm.
don't, which we would probably be a much better podcast if we did edit, but there's not a whole lot of editing.
Do
We
you
just kind
edit?
of
Do
throw
you
it out
edit
there.
much?
Hardly ever. I mean,
Yeah.
we crack jokes
Right.
about it on there. Like this would be a good place where if we started editing, we'd be more
Right.
like, as you said, a pro earlier. But no,
You are.
I mean, you just kind of slap it together. You put the music on the thing, do it in GarageBand, get it out there. We try to do a little. I think we pay for a service that masters it a little bit. You know, just makes
Okay.
it sound a little bit better than we're able to.
Yeah. No, I
But
think
that's
it's
about
good.
it. Pretty
How
average.
how many people do you think you reach? I mean, I know it fluctuates.
It fluctuates. It's best to say, and it's like I would say probably we have a regular list about 1,000 folks, which is not
Okay.
huge, but certainly
Yeah.
we're thrilled to have them. And you know, it kind of fluctuates there from like 800 to 1,000, around that
Right.
area.
Picks up around elections and then gets
A little bit. I
scarce.
think we're very fortunate to have some loyal listeners, and we have the Patreon where people
I've been there.
help support us, and
I need to get back on there.
it's almost like we talk to take your time,
Yeah.
sir. How much do I got to pay for this, by the way?
Hey, this is not. No, I'll pay you, man. One thing I do like, I'm going to digress for a second. One thing I do like is when you guys do talk money, you're like, spend on something good. Help somebody out. You always say it. Both of you guys always say that.
When stuff's going on, which of course it is, we would much rather people give that money to. We're flattered that anyone gives us anything. I'll make that completely clear. But again, going back to that audience, the fact that a lot of folks write us. I was talking to you. The reason I'm doing this podcast with you is because you sent me a photo of your surgical scars.
Yeah,
so,
I sent you a Holtzclaw picture too.
You did. That's right.
That's the street down here.
We were talking on, but like I talked to you. You seem like a nice guy, and we've been fortunate to have that experience with a lot of our listeners.
That's
been
cool.
very fortunate.
So real quick,
we kind of know some people by name and that sort of thing. So yeah.
So for platforms, you got YouTube. I would listen to you on Pocket Casts. I think you're on Twitter. I don't know.
I think they're everywhere. I don't know. Like you put it up on Lisbon and it puts it out everywhere.
Okay,
so I don't even
right.
know. They used to be a running joke on the thing where Chachi's and podcasts and iTunes and so I don't. Yeah, we put them up on I think the service is Lisbon and then it sends it out to the world wherever that is.
Okay. So a couple more questions on the podcast plate. Okay, we're almost done with this plate. Do you miss video, or I think audio works fine? I think
I don't miss video because I don't have to dress up. Right. I put on overalls and all that. I can do the podcast, without a stitch on if I want to.
Right, that's how I go to work. Yeah,
I don't. Yeah, I'm so lazy. I don't want to put on clothes. No, so it was certainly fun, and I think we had a few good ones. I would say I wouldn't say all of those.
You had a lot of good ones.
There's a few that I'm there's a lot that I'm not particularly proud of, but there's a few that so it was definitely fun doing stuff on video and working with Jonathan in that way. But this is kind of what it is now.
They weren't an hour and a half. They were shorter.
Sure. Yeah. But they were tightly. Those things are completely different from what we're doing now. Those were usually structured and very tight. You do Abbott Costello sort of stuff. That line, this line, that line. You'd have to learn that. That's no fun. Then hopefully get it. We tried to get everything in one take, and there were plenty of nights where we had written something we thought was so great we couldn't remember it. We'd be up all night. So all that's gone. Now we just
Right.
spouted out there, are the quality may not be as great, but
Well, it's good for me.
it's what it is now. It's
yeah,
just different. You know what I mean? Like
change.
we used to
Right,
do
right,
that, and I like doing that, but now we do this. So that's
right,
the
right.
easiest way to put it.
But those were good. That seems like a lot more complicated to make the videos for sure. Speaking of Abbott and Costello, y'all.
Yeah.
I mean, I try to think of ideas for you guys. I'm laying in bed 2:30 in the morning, can't sleep, and you could do
We
instead of who's.
definitely cannot pay you for any suggestions you give us. I'm telling
Dude,
you now,
I'm paying
cannot
you.
afford it.
This is no. This is you guys are my number one podcast. You could do a who's on first, but not who's on first. Like you could do stores on the Murfreesboro Square. Who's
Sure.
in.
I think we probably did that at one point.
Okay.
I think
All right,
that's.
all right. You could do that. The other one I had was, you remember when I forget what happened. Tesla dude Musk launched a rocket and there was a
Yeah.
riot or something that day. I think it was Black Lives Matter riot, right? Same day.
Yeah.
And y'all could have done Whitey on the Moon with Jackie's voice.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We really, during that period of time,
Yeah.
if you remember, we didn't do sponsors as much because
Right.
when we were talking about something that was certainly very impactful to us personally, let alone the characters, it was difficult to now we're going to be cute and funny because we just felt like we couldn't do it.
Self-aware.
We also made not the mistake. We made the decision after the riots on the 6th, after the insurrection at the Capitol. We said, no, damn it, we're not going to let these assholes
Right.
keep us from doing what we do. But we didn't respect that. I'll put it that way. That we had no respect.
I get
we did
you.
not. That was a bunch of
That was,
But
clowns.
if it was but
Right.
being out here in LA with the Black Lives Matter and those are issues that mean a great deal to Jonathan and I, and for that, when that was really impacting the country, which is due to terrible things, but thank God we were addressing it. It wasn't service to that to do jokes afterwards. So
makes sense.
For that stretch,
right. No, you were dead serious. I mean, and you always hit on the right points, man. I'm pretty woke. I hope I'm woke enough. I'm originally from West Virginia. So.
We are definitely woke, and it's fun to play these Southern archetypes and figuring it out. That was mainly the other podcast that we used to do. Yeah. Because we are movies. It was a Redneck Matinee.
Oh yeah.
And we came at the stuff that we genuinely love and still love. I genuinely still love. But there's a lot of stuff. Anything that's just 5 years old.
Right.
There's
there's
history.
Issues.
There's some issues with it. Yeah. So that was kind of us embracing and also confronting. Basically our childhood in some ways, and what redneck movies. We love that shit.
It's not the 70s anymore.
No, it is not. And that's good in some ways.
Yeah,
and in other ways, it's not.
It's fun to time travel back. I mean, now everybody has a phone and everybody's distracted and you can find out anything any second. All right. So that's the end of the podcast plate. I don't have any. So other ones I got.
Good plate. I think that was more than 3 questions, but I'm gonna let that slide.
Man.
No, we're
gonna come back to meaning of life. So if we can think of it. All right. So music. So you guys do music. I mean, definitely.
We do.
Sing.
We have a guy we work with and have worked. I was in a band with him in the 90s, and we still put out stuff with Holtzclaw, which he sent me the thing you were talking. Yeah. We for a while there, every year because we just love doing it, and we put it out. But he works with Jonathan and I and Red State Update as well. Jonathan also helps with Holtzclaw, but
that's cool.
William Sherry Jr. He's an amazing musician and producer, and we love working with him. So anytime we can work songs, whether we're good singers or not, it doesn't matter. We like to add music for sure. And I see you're a musician, obviously. Well, you have some guitars there. You have the drums.
I'm an empty nester, right? So that's juniors.
Oh, okay.
From middle school. Now I pick it up and beat on it, and it's not good. It's not good. It's not good. But I'll play. We could play a song sometime, and you can sing it, but not tonight, right?
Okay, all right.
But so
not tonight.
Holtzclaw, you have. I saw a couple of Holtzclaw videos. I like that one. I think what's her name,
Sonny War, who is my stepdaughter, and genuinely, she was slumming hanging out with us that day.
Yeah,
no,
right.
she's genuinely amazing musician.
That was a cool video.
Yeah, it was a family affair because my partner Adrian was in it as well,
That's
and
cool.
so yeah, it was nice. It was a fun little thing for us to
It
do
was a
for
good.
sure.
It was a good all the way around, and the video was interesting. So what's just real quick on Holtzclaw? Hopefully you'll keep doing stuff off and on. Is it
I
what's
mean, yeah, Blue is already sending me stuff. I said William Sherry Jr.,
yeah,
nicknamed
yeah,
Blue. So if I say
okay,
that, I don't mean to confuse anyone. But yeah, he sent me something a few days ago. It's like, because we all kind of have some kind of day job or something that we're working on. So that's a release for another release other than the podcast that we fortunately have. So yeah, we're always
right.
doing that stuff.
What would you consider that Holtzclaw genre?
Well, we try to be.
That's
What
a
did
good one.
somebody say? This isn't my quote, but of course it's even lame if I said it. What was it?
Right.
I'm not going to remember it. Genre anarchy, I believe, is what
Yeah. Yeah.
some DJ called it, because we try to do all different
Yeah.
kinds. Like this
Right.
is our roller skating jam song, and this is our
Okay.
country and western song, and this is the
Right.
heavy. That's kind of how we come
No
at
two
it.
songs are the
Yeah,
same. Right.
and then some stuff is just weird. I mean,
Yeah.
just we're playing around. But so I don't know what genre. I mean, I would say most of it's comedy based. I would say that there's humor in the
Right.
majority of it.
Right. I forget what that line was. I don't want to say it out loud because I like what you tell Jonathan. Don't use that language. Something about with the dog. In
Oh
that
yes. Oh yeah. Holtzclaw has there's no safeguards. There's no one telling us to watch our language in Holtzclaw for sure.
I appreciate that when you tell Dunlap to quit cussing, because that makes our podcast, because I'll cuss every other word if I don't think of that.
Well, that's if you grew up in the South, you knew that person.
Yeah,
I was one of the people being told to watch my language. There's a lot of my mother in Jackie.
Yeah.
There's a big chunk I took from her.
Man, I was going to tell you, I think I told you one time on Instagram that my mom and Jackie sound the same. I mean, not frequency, but like mispronouncing words, Netflix.
Yeah.
I was watching Netflix last night, and that's just the tip of the iceberg, any word. And I love her to death. Right. And one time we're driving from West Virginia to Tennessee, and we're listening to you guys, and she's a certain person's supporter. This was before that, with her, but I forget what it was, man. But she got all caught up in it and into the podcast, and she's like, she'll get a kick out of that. On music, one other question here: what kind of music do you listen to besides Holtzclaw?
Kind of everything. We just got like a nice turntable. Like this is one of the things we got. My partner's father was kind enough to get this for her birthday, but I think I get to share it because she lives here. But it's like a speakers and turntable. So we were like, cool. What did I get? I got an Elvis Costello
there you go.
record, and we like everything. I mean, it's all over the map. There's not. I mean, I grew up listening to country and western music to a certain. Right. I'm not a big fan of the newer stuff.
Right.
Or the racist stuff these days. Right, I don't know who that guy is. The guy.
That's true.
I mean, that's awful that, and I haven't heard his music, so I can't speak on that. But I've heard it like, it's almost. Sturgill Simpson is somebody who I think is doing some good music these days. But yeah, the fact that he did that and his album sales went up, but it's just crazy.
So you're on top of your news.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
do you besides singing, do you play any instruments?
Not really.
I don't.
I don't. I can scream and holler. I write the majority of the words down. Okay. I get some help from some other folks with that occasionally, but for the most part, that my job is to do that and scream in the microphone. I have suggestions and stuff. I kind of like. Yeah. I think I get a producer credit on it, but I wouldn't be able to do any of this stuff without Blue. Yeah, he's just he's an amazing musician. Yeah.
I guess we like alternative because it's kind of power chords, easy to play.
Yeah. I love that stuff too. Yeah.
We try to do, I don't know how much your alternative background is. We try to do Bela Lugosi's Dead on Halloween. You ever heard that song?
Bauhaus. Come on, man. Of course.
So we had this whole thing here cranked up here, and we had the fog machine going. And eventually during the song, we disappeared. Right. And I'm playing the guitar with the egg beater, to make the weird sounds.
Right.
Yeah, probably got, I don't know, maybe 5-6 views.
Hey,
but
it'll get 7 as soon as I get off of here.
All right, I'll send it to you.
Send me the link.
Right.
Okay.
So here's here's the humor paper plate, right?
Okay, so, humor paper plate. All right.
Yeah, and then like, what's your favorite kind of humor? I mean, What do
We
you
were just
appreciate?
watching. We just ordered Laurel and Hardy. We were just
Yeah,
watching that a few minutes ago before
that's cool.
like
That's
we
cool.
got that in the mail today. All over the place. You know, Buster Keaton, Chaplin. I
Yeah,
grew up, little kid in my when I was growing up. I guess Steve Martin would have been a
yeah,
huge. Woody Allen before he married his
yeah.
daughter was an
Right, right,
influence.
right, right, right.
Uh,
That's not woke.
yeah, that is not. Yeah,
That's not woke,
not at
buddy.
all. I don't. Listen, yeah, all that's bad. But
Mm,
Richard Pryor, of course, was one of
yeah,
my. Eddie
yeah.
Murphy. Who else? If you come from that time frame, which is, I'm 51.
Hmm.
So yeah, Steve Martin is super important to me.
Right, 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 right.
Uh,
So it's a
there's a
combination of
lot of good.
slapstick and then stand up.
Sure, I
Yeah,
like the old. We mentioned Abbott and Costello. I grew
yeah,
up on that stuff. I love the Three Stooges. That
yeah.
stuff's good.
All this good
Albert
stuff.
Brooks is one of my favorite comedians for sure. I was watching Lost in America a couple nights ago. That is one of my favorites. Um, Yeah, we could talk about this for the rest of
I
the,
got you. I got
if
you.
you want. Gilda Radner, the original,
Oh yeah, yeah,
SNL.
yeah,
I remember being a kid at that
yeah,
time in the '70s, and adults were having a party and
yeah.
everything, and everybody behaving drinks and loud and da da da. And me, I just remember being at knee
Right,
level probably.
right, right, right.
And when that show came on, everything stopped. You turned on the TV, and
Yeah,
everybody watched Saturday Night Live. And
yeah,
Second
yeah.
City is a huge,
Right,
huge
right. Second
influence.
City was good.
Yes,
Yeah,
SCTV. I
yeah.
grew up. I still love that as much as I did back
That
then.
was
Yeah,
pretty strong back then.
yeah, yeah,
Up in Chicago. And then,
yeah.
and you mentioned Carol Burnett's show, man. That's a good one
Of
too.
course, yeah. I grew up on. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I watch that every once in a while. Tim Conway just cracks me up. Um,
Very funny.
so,
I'm not a big fan of Dorf. I think one
okay.
Dorf video would have been enough. Would he make
I don't,
36? I don't know
I
how
don't,
many.
I'm not sure. I like it where he cracks Harvey Korman up, and they just
Well, of
can't even
course,
see
me too.
straight. They can't see
Yeah, yeah.
straight. So how do you guys write jokes? Like,
Are they jokes? I mean,
yeah,
we used to, like I said, the older videos when we were filming ourselves, that was a rat-a-tat. We were definitely trying to write setup, punchline, that sort of thing.
right, right. On the
Now we
videos.
don't do that anymore. I mean,
Yeah,
we crack ourselves up coming up
yeah,
with names,
yeah,
in the
yeah, yeah,
sponsor, which is more
yeah,
the more comedic area, I guess, in the podcast for those who
yeah.
haven't, for the 29 of you who have never listened to it.
Yeah.
The the sponsors are made up, and Jonathan and I, they end up being these long drawn out
Oh
science
yeah,
fiction, soap opera,
science
whatever you want to
fiction,
call
man.
it, as usually somehow the occult
Yeah,
or
right, right. The things in the trees, the dogs in the
I don't.
trees. Remember that one?
Yep, the dog
That was a
devil.
long one,
I don't
man.
think we've done aliens yet. I'll have to mention that to
Okay.
Jonathan because you said
Yeah,
aliens earlier.
yeah.
I don't
Aliens
think
are
we've
big.
done aliens,
Everybody's looking
but
for something.
we'll crack each other up, like, and then this happens. Okay, I'll write that down. But yeah,
Yeah,
and a lot of times, like, a lot of it's when we're doing it, and you just
yeah.
can't see me because it's a podcast, but I'm
Right.
doing everything I can not to laugh at Jonathan
It seems like you
occasionally.
guys start off with a joke or levity, and
Hmm.
then you drill and talk about political events and stuff, and then you kind of finish on a joke. Then the halftime music comes in, you
Yeah,
know, and
yeah,
then you go into sponsors and the end of the music. But
yeah, yeah.
that's a pattern. Like you start off strong.
Oh well, thank you. Sometimes I don't necessarily feel some are as good as others. I when
Right.
it
Well,
takes
it's life.
sometimes it seems before the rhythm gets going or whatever. He and
Yeah.
I went through Second City, and I had a class in Chicago, and then I went through the course here in Los Angeles. Jonathan with Improv Olympic, so we kind of know a little about that stuff. I mean, it certainly didn't help. I think
Yeah.
we did stuff before we took those classes, but as much information you can get on anything, it helps. But
Yeah.
I think that stuff kicks in occasionally, and you just try to make stuff work the best it can. But as far as like occasionally he will say something before we
Yeah.
record, like, that's write that phrase down, whatever it is, it pinpoints,
Right.
but it's usually nowadays that's the extent of it. It's
Well,
sketches of things, and the majority of it is us just hopefully, riffing to some quality level.
the attitude is funny too. The attitude you have towards politics, both you guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, a couple other things, just stuff I think's funny. you guys do, sometimes like you'll go nuts on something, and
Yeah.
and then Jonathan's good because he pauses.
Okay.
And
Yes.
there's
Yes.
silence, and then he goes, "I think I got a sponsor you're really gonna like, Jackie." But there's
Right.
a
Right.
gigantic pause.
You
And
like that? Because I keep
it
telling him that's what's bringing us down. I hate that pause shit. I'm
well,
surprised you like that. I'm
be-
kidding.
the re- the reason it's funny is because he's trying to figure out his reaction to what you just said, or waiting for you to cool down or something.
Right. Right. Right.
That's where that's like in real life, people may do that. If somebody blows up on
Sure.
you, may like
We try to do these characters we play. We try to make. I mean, again, they've kind of taken a life of it because we've been doing
yeah
them so damn long. They just.
yeah
I know how this character is going to react to whatever it is because I've been doing this thing for so long.
right.
Too long.
Well, it's a outlet, creative
It
outlet. You got a
is.
lot of
It is.
creativity. Yep.
It is. Indeed, it is.
One thing you guys got, I don't want to keep bragging on you, but I mean, it takes a lot of mental acuity or whatever to keep this stuff going from here out your mouth, and timing, and there's a lot of brain.
Well, that's where the drugs come in.
That's where the
No.
well, you live in California, right? So
we do, but
out.
no.
Yeah.
There are some days where we don't have it. What you just mentioned, where your brain, and there are some days where you know what. This is. There's been, and fortunately, not often, because we're able to keep doing them. But it has happened. Like, I'm not feeling today. Let's try this again tomorrow. I mean, it's been very rare, but it has happened where one of us or both of us, or probably Jonathan, was terrible, and we couldn't, get
probably
things going.
Jonathan was terrible. That's funny.
And I'm taking a break, or I don't feel like this shit today, or whatever. It happens, and there's been a few times where we get to a point where we realize, like, you know what, let's start over. I'm going to throw that out. Let's just do it. But most of the time, we're fortunate that our standards are very low.
Right.
So
your standards are low. That's funny. We have dedication. The mispronouncing the words is funny. We talked about that a second ago. That's always funny. And then we talked about you guys not cracking up much. That's all good. I'm trying to think what other highlights. All of it's highlights, but
there's nothing else
funny.
written on the plate. Go to the plate.
I got your name.
When you go up, you look at the plate.
I got your name written on one, so I don't call you the wrong name.
Okay.
Right.
That's it. You spelled it right. Very good.
Right. I know you're Mark Harmon's brother.
I am not.
No, I'm just kidding. I don't even know who he is. He's an actor.
He is.
Yeah. Right.
You don't know who he is, but you know he's an actor?
I had to Google it. I'm like, well, who's the other Harmon I know? And, one thing we don't do during our podcast, I got to get out. I guess this is the part I got to edit out. One thing we don't do on our podcast is we never Google anything. We say we're going to figure this out in our heads.
Right.
What's the speed of light? And we're going to do it in our heads. We're not going to Google it. All right. Here's the last one. Politics.
Oh boy.
We're rounding third. Right.
I said 3 questions, not 3 topics. But go ahead. Go ahead.
3 plates. 3 plates. I think we've already covered some of this stuff, but we talked about before we started the video. Are you worried about doxing? You said not in LA. You know what I mean?
It's not like I'm not scared to go home, or I'm not scared to give my opinion in Tennessee. Right. It's just you're going to get more grief for it. Of course, these days maybe you should be scared because people blow shit up now.
Yeah.
But I'm not around it as much. I'm not, because if I were home, I would have family members and I would have some old friends who would disagree with me greatly on political stuff. It doesn't mean I don't love them or hate them. I don't understand them. But being out in LA, there are very few people who, are Trump supporters. I don't know any. Obviously, there are some here. I don't know them. Whereas if I were home, I would be exposed to it more often, I guess. But again, it's not like fuck these people, or I don't want to be around that, or excuse my language. It's just like just where I'm living is the difference.
I mean, everybody has a viewpoint. Everybody has their own person.
Absolutely, and I'm happy to. It's hard to have different viewpoints on Trump as far as I'm concerned. But anyhow, we'll.
Well, look, he has seen you.
You want.
He's seen you and he's pointed his finger at you before.
He did do that. If I knew what I knew now, what could I have
Okay.
done then to
You
stop
got
all
it, and
this?
you got to smile at Melania. Now Melania was right there.
Yeah, well, they're gonna, the only two people who there's a lot of people around, but we're the only
Yeah.
people dressed like complete idiots, other
Right.
than Marco Rubio. So
Yeah.
you're
Oh
gonna get a
God.
laugh.
Now look,
You can,
we can talk politics, but Marco Rubio versus Cruz, which one do you hate more?
I
Or let's
Rubio,
put
I think
Rubio.
Rubio, because Cruz, like, I kind of understand. Awful, terrible, terrible human being. I think I understand him. Like, Cruz enjoys being an asshole, and like
Yeah.
Rubio really thinks people like him. You know what I mean? Like, Cruz knows that people don't like him, and he
Yeah.
enjoys. That's
Yeah.
what he does. Like, if
Yeah.
he loses his Senate, he'll be on Fox. He'll have a show where he you're the point
Yeah.
of the show is to make people mad.
Yeah.
But Rubio, his Bible, he tweets Bible verses for anyone who don't know, because if
Raphael,
you
you
catch
mean?
up on your gospel, you can
Yeah.
turn to Rubio's tweets.
I don't know, man.
But he's just the wishy-washy, just, yeah. I mean, so is Cruz, but
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know, something. I guess I hate his face more. Rubio.
Rubio's face or Cruz's face?
Yeah. I'm both. But if I had to, like, if I could only point at their face and tell them how ugly they are, I would probably pick Rubio.
Now you got up and coming. What's his name? Halley, whatever his name is. That the guy that gave the fist to the. He's Missouri. Halley,
Oh, yes, Holly. I'm sorry. I think it's pronounced both ways. It took me a minute.
I think
Yes,
you've been
know
out of Tennessee too long.
Yeah.
Travis, I think you.
I didn't catch it, man. You're right.
I think you've been out of Tennessee too long.
I have. I would have messed up on Hallie, but it did sound like Jackie. Holly. What is it? Yeah. No, he's terrible too.
He's assuming the mantleship.
Oh yeah, he's gonna. I don't know. I'm hoping that Trump is an anomaly. I hope that, because he's just so stupid and so, and it's farcical, but it's not funny, because a lot of people lost their lives and got hurt or were separated from their families. So you can't. It's hard for me to make light of him, but it's just so ridiculous. I don't know if anybody else can fake that and do it. They will try. But and have the following that he has. It is very cultish, but he is such a weird figure outside of everything. Just very strange. Nothing appealing to me. I don't understand the appeal. I'm let down by the South because how they embraced him, which of course on the podcast, he's a Yankee, know-it-all, smart ass, and like, why? How does this happen? I guess the racism was just
there was some
enough
article
to
bring the votes in. There was some article I read, and I can't remember what the term was, but because he does everything to 11, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, people dig that, like,
I don't know. I just don't know if any other politicians, Green's got a good head start, I guess, but I don't know. But she's just using him. She's just doing him. I don't know if that's going to work for any. Hopefully, it will not work.
I mean, you had 75 million. You had 75 million, supposedly, right?
Yeah, 74, I think.
And a lot of that's, we could go into that, but
oh man, it's depressing. It absolutely.
You don't know if it's 74 is legit. If anybody's not legit, it's part of that 74, right?
Yeah. I think a lot of people just don't pay attention to politics. I mean, it's really not his fault, because he's always been crazy. He was like this before. He went crazier with the power, obviously, but it was the GOP who said, yes, this will be our by allowing. They could have said, no, you can't run on our ticket. They could have just as easily have done that, and they chose to put him on the ticket. So people who don't keep up with politics or watch everything all the day, it's like, oh, I'm a Republican, and so he seems a little weird, and the language is weird, but I'm a Republican, so that's what, and you go along with your party.
It's party before country, definitely.
You mentioned you couldn't do that with the caucus, so you know what I mean. There's some people. But it's just true. It's like they went along with it, and you know,
That,
and
that
then
was
it became something else. It just grew into something else. Yeah.
that was a long time ago. My thought then, I think I was probably 18. I don't know, 84, and the thought was we knew Reagan was going to win, and I thought, well, if he ever checks the records, he'll see that I voted for him. He won't put me on the
It's good to
list
be on
of,
the safe side. No, that makes sense.
you know what I'm saying? That was the reason.
Definitely.
But that's funny, man. Well, Travis, I won't keep you. I'm out. I'm trying to think else here. I think we covered everything. This is awesome. We could talk politics for a long time. You know,
it'll just sound the same after a
Yeah.
while. It's just
Right.
enough of this shit.
Right. But
Always a pleasure talking to you, Kevin. Thanks for reaching out to me.
This is gonna be right up there where I interviewed my 93-year-old friend.
Oh, hey, all right. Yes, yeah, no, I heard some of that. That was fascinating. Yes, actually, that I need to share that with some more people. I heard YouTube. I believe you sent me a link. Yeah.
I talked to her, and we're friendly and funny. You know, she's. Sure. I mean, when you're 93 and you're with it, you've done something right.
Absolutely.
And she still makes money, but I could dig deeper. I'm not digging deeper into 1945. You know.
I understand that.
We're light and fluffy.
Okay, I understand that.
And you know, she hates Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah, a lot of people do. There's people on the left and people on the right that hate Nancy Pelosi. It's what it is. Yeah.
I think part of that, and Hillary's, I think, and this is just conjecture, Kevin's opinion, is a lot of women hate women. What do you think about that? I don't know.
They're welcome to. They can hate whoever they want. But no, that's I have seen that. Yes.
I mean, I don't know how they felt for Kamala. I'm not sure how that, how they said, well, it's Biden, it's not Kamala. I can vote for Biden. I don't know.
I mean, Biden, I think, had to be it simply for the fact that there were a lot of, there were a lot of people who voted for Trump that felt safe.
Yeah,
voting for Biden. He wasn't a communist. Bernie Sanders scares people, a radical or whatever. Which I don't really think. I mean, but people do. And yeah, Biden. I think. I don't know. I wouldn't say I was excited for his candidacy. I wasn't like I was. I was actually Elizabeth Warren impressed me.
I like Elizabeth Warren. Yeah.
And
again,
to give him credit, he seems like he's doing. Biden seems. It's only been two weeks, but still.
Right.
And the bar is so very low, so I understand why it seems like, okay, he's doing okay so far.
We're almost like a real country again.
We got to keep working on that.
Yeah. I wish he ran in 2016, when he's a little bit younger.
Yeah. Yeah. That was Hillary's to have. That was hers.
She was anointed.
She won it. I don't mean to. It was kind of like I was bashing Hillary. I don't mean to. No, Bernie Sanders gave her a good try, but ultimately the votes came out the way they did.
She was 100%, 1,000% qualified.
Of course she was. Absolutely, she was. Yes, more so than anybody else. I mean, and some people, that's a detriment to some folks, which I understand, and I understand that point of view. But no, she would have definitely been better than this shit.
Travis, man, I appreciate you spending time with me. I'll send you the link or send you the video, whatever you want to do. You may want to file 13.
No, please do. No, okay. I appreciate it. I'll try to get you. I could probably guarantee you maybe 4 listeners, extra new listeners, because of my dumb ass being on here.
Your partner probably heard it live, right?
No, hell, he will never listen.
No, I mean your other partner, your female partner, is probably in the house.
Oh, she's in the other room. She knows how to tune me out, man. She knows so well. Yeah, she's been here for 10 years. She wouldn't be if she didn't know how to turn me out. Yeah. She would have been gone a long time ago. So
I think she's creative too, based on what I see on your.
She is,
and so it's it's awesome. But again, not worthy. Thank you so much.
Shit, it was fun, Kevin.
Best interview you ever had from Ottawa.
Okay.
All right, we'll keep in touch. I hope.
Please do. Thanks, man. I enjoyed talking to you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. See you, Travis. I had to turn this off. Got to save it.